Welcome to the Titan batch, the Pinnacle batch. Ashlesha Dhumal, Pyam Prakash, Amrutapu, Shivam Kumar, Adesh Kumar, Sushti Soloni, Nirupama, Dharani Aishwarya, Sakshi, Shyam Prakash, Naseem. I'm fantastic. Thank you for asking. Diya, Akriti, Simran. All right, people. So multiple requests I had received, especially with regard to this international relations. As you people already know, the current affairs, content-wise, the workload, not workload, the content load has increased, where it was literally becoming impossible to cover all the relevant topics within the stipulated time of maybe 2.5 or even 3 hours in depth. So that is the reason why I thought I will club a few things now, especially with regard to the Strait of Hormuz issue, because this issue will keep continuing. This is never going to end. All right, this is never going to end. So we are going to take up that issue and how this West Asian crisis has always been a flashpoint in India, especially when it comes to the crude oil prices or even be it the access to natural gas or LPG. So how it will affect our country, how it will affect the current account deficit, and from there, how is it going to affect India's rupee value, and what will be its impact on overall economy of the country. All right. So this is what we are going to see. Aditya, the only instruction to follow is PW Only IAS English YouTube channel is there. In that channel, in the description section, the PDF has been attached. So please download that PDF. That is what you're going to do first. Just a minute. If you click on it, you will see click here to download notes. So just click on that link and you will be able to access it. So just take it up. All right. Anxiety is normal. That anxiety generally happens only because you're always wondering why you are not clearing, whether you will clear it or not. And that only happens, that worry of anxiety will only come when you are not having a plan B in your hand, or you're not having financial independence. That is, you're still dependent on your parents for money. Only in such a scenario you will have it. So without any further delay, I'm taking you right into the topic, Strait of Hormuz. Now, Strait of Hormuz, let us try to understand the geography part of it first. The Strait of Hormuz is a narrow waterway connecting the Persian Gulf to the Gulf of Oman and the Arabian Sea. So the first and foremost thing that you people are going to do is you take out the atlas and start taking it up. Download today's PDF. Download today's PDF, not last week's. It is the only maritime gateway through which the Gulf countries access the open ocean. That means as far as the Gulf countries are concerned, let us say UAE, Oman, not Oman, UAE, Saudi Arabia, those countries, especially when you take, say for example, now this is your Strait of Hormuz, Gulf of Oman and Arabian Sea. So this is Arabian Sea. This is your Hormuz region. As you can clearly see, for Iran, for Kuwait, for Bahrain, for Qatar, for UAE, for all these countries, even, yes, Iraq, this is the only route through which they can reach the open ocean. Yeah, another option is there, which is to go like this, but that is through Mediterranean Sea. Open ocean, when we talk about, this is the most important route here. And it is the only route that is available. Just give me a minute. So this is the only route available. Okay. Now your job, I will tell you. Your job is basically marking Oman's capital, UAE's capital, Qatar's capital, Bahrain's capital, Kuwait, Iran, Iraq, Saudi, and yes, Yemen. All these countries you're going to mark. Got the point here? So this is what you're going to do. Now, the strait is about 50 km wide at its entrance and exit. The strait narrows to about 33 km between Iran and Oman. So over here, it is widest at 50, and as it narrows over here, it comes from 50, it reduces to 33. All right. At its narrowest point, the strait lies within the overlapping territorial waters of Iran and Oman. Both of them have control. Modern navigation uses separate inbound and outbound shipping lanes. Each lane is about 2 nautical miles wide. A buffer zone of about 2 nautical miles separate the two lanes. That means, it simply means, it is just like a highway. Clearly marked lanes are there where ships can enter and then ships can exit with an equal width of 2 nautical miles. Now, it is not such a huge value again. Please understand, 1 nautical mile is roughly 1.76 kilometer. So you may feel, oh, that much kilometer is there, but not actually. That is actually very less space actually for ships to move in, especially large tankers, etc. For them to move in, it is actually very, very less. Clear? So that is the thing. Buffer zone of about 2 nautical miles separates the two lanes. A slight change in the image here. Two nautical miles, point of entry. 2 nautical miles through which ships will exit, and in between you have a buffer zone again of 2 nautical miles. Not that these things are important, but this is just for your understanding. That means how limited the space is within that Strait of Hormuz. And again, if you look at that whole region here, geographic advantage is for which country? Literally from the start of this point till almost till here, if you notice, the geographic advantage is with Iran. Literally from the entry point to almost till the tip here, Iran literally covers the almost the entire geography of that strait. Persian Gulf, Iran is sitting there overlooking it. So in the event if Iran decides to block this completely, Iran can do it just like that. It is that easy. Got the point here? Iran occupies a dominant geographical position in the strait. Of the 8 major islands located in the strait, 7 are controlled by Iran. Important islands near the shipping routes include Keshem, Hormuz, Larak, and Abu Musa. Abu Musa, Greater Tunb, and Lesser Tunb are claimed by both Iran and the United Arab Emirates, but they are administered by Iran. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7th one has not been mentioned here, but okay. These 6 islands again, they are in and around the Persian Gulf region. Mark it in your atlas again. I know when you mark it again, it is not that it is going to be possible for you to mark these islands here, because they are very tiny dots. but it is in the Persian Gulf. At least mark that much. Persian Gulf region. And yes, if you really ask me, the other islands actually, especially these islands, Abu Musa, Greater Tunb, Lesser Tunb, this comes here between UAE and Iran. All right, because questions which are coming in the map section for preliminary purposes, they are asked based on international relations or international events. That is why this way you are going to mark it. Now taking it further forward, strategic and economic importance. Strategic importance of Strait of Hormuz increased after major oil discoveries in the Persian Gulf during the early 20th century. Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Oman, Qatar, UAE, Bahrain, and Kuwait depend on the strait for maritime access. Like I told you, Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Bahrain, Saudi, Qatar, UAE, all these countries, for them, the strait becomes very, very important. Now, how important it is economically. 20% of the global liquefied natural gas trade goes through this route again. 20%. 25% of all seaborne oil trade again goes through this. That means 1/4 of oil that is required for the world goes to the Strait of Hormuz region. And that is the reason why if any change, if anything happens, any escalation happens over here in terms of a conflict, automatically the prices of crude oil will shoot up. Got the point here? Daily transit volume 20 million barrels per day. That is approximately 3,000 ships per month. Daily transit is what? 20 million barrels per day easily. 20 billion barrels of crude oil actually goes through that region per day. Number two is what? Number two is 3,000 ships per month. So it's not at all a small matter. About 1/3 of global oil supplies also goes through it. Key exports even include urea, fertilizer exports from Gulf countries. I have always told this to you. Urea's key component for its manufacture is natural gas. So if you are having rich source of natural gas, then you can easily manufacture urea there, as well as other fertilizers. What do they import? Now, even though they import things like LNG, oil, fertilizer, these countries over here are heavily dependent on imports of food and technology into the region. So if Iran actually decides to restrict the cargo here or restrict the movement of ships there, it is not that the Middle Eastern countries will be having a gala time. Middle Eastern countries will face crisis in terms of shortage of essential supplies of goods. Got the fact here. So one thing that will always keep happening because of the Strait of Hormuz, any crisis happens there, the Middle Eastern countries, they will never stand united. Because ultimately, I need to worry about my people. If my people are not getting food, if my people are not getting access to medicine, I'll be worried about that. I won't be worried about what is happening in Iran or what is happening in Palestine. I won't be concerned about any of it, which is the changing trend that is happening in the Middle East. Clear? Moving further. Conflict and maritime disruptions. During the Iran-Iraq war in the 1980s, both countries targeted oil tankers in the Persian Gulf. This keeps on happening. Between the Middle East, always, there was the Kuwait war, there was the Iraq war, there is the Iran war. This keeps on happening in the Middle East region. It is one of the most unstable regions on planet Earth, you can say. Because country-wise, everybody has their own country, but still somehow or the other, always one or the other conflict keeps happening there. The conflict demonstrated the vulnerability of maritime traffic in the region. Iran has repeatedly stated that it could close the Strait of Hormuz if attacked. This has been always Iran's trump card. You touch me, I'll block Strait of Hormuz. After conflict began on February 28, Iran took control of traffic through the strait. Ship movements declined by more than 90% from the pre-war levels. Restrictions on shipping increased fuel prices, insurance costs, and shipping costs. Obviously, right now, fuel prices, why it will increase, we know. Because oil is not able to enter the mainstream market, there will be a shortage of oil supply. Number one. Number two, Ships are at an increased risk of getting attacked. So insurance companies will charge very high rates now, very high premiums. Plus shipping cost is also going to increase. You will not get crew that easily if they ask you come to Persian region, etc. They will not be that happy to come and work there. So the cost of insurance, cost of the employees, everything shoots up. Next, energy import dependent economies, including India, were affected. Obviously, because at the peak of this whole thing, crude oil prices literally hit $145 per barrel, literally affecting countries like India. Clear. Ports in the UAE, including Jebel Ali and Fujairah, experienced disruptions. Again, mark it in your atlas. Jebel Ali and Fujairah, why will it face disruptions? For the simple reason that, as you can see here, this is the point. So here they experience disruption. According to United States Congressional Research Service report, 42 US aircraft were lost or damaged during Operation Epic Fury. This operation, which was launched by USA's reason for launching this attack, the so-called attack on Iran, was basically preemptive strike. Preemptive strike. That means it was retaliatory. Before the enemy could attack us, we are attacking the enemy. But on what basis did you say that Iran was planning an attack on USA, or for that matter on Israel? Was there any evidence? Did Iran actually do any such attack? Nothing. The losses included F-35 stealth fighters, more than half of the inventories of Patriot, Tomahawk, and Terminal High Altitude Area Defense missiles were reportedly expended during the conflict. More than 240 American targets were reportedly struck by Iran, which we had seen. US companies or their bases or the military bases of USA in other countries were attacked by Iran. US-Iran Memorandum of Understanding. So after a couple of months of mutually attacking each other, finally they signed a Memorandum of Understanding. 14 clauses were there in this Memorandum of Understanding. We are going to see each of these clauses. Again, it is not that you have to by heart all these clauses. But these clauses are a departure from the earlier US stance. And even if they become successful also, it will not be for too long. Because Israel is there on the other side. We will see that aspect now. The United States and Iran signed a 14-clause Memorandum of Understanding on June 17th and 18th, 2026 respectively. Today's date is 20th. That means just 3 days ago. Clear? So let us see that. The agreement initiated a 60-day period of negotiations for a final settlement. 60-day period. The agreement also established a 30-day transition period for restoration of maritime traffic. That means for 60 days, we will not fight with each other as long as negotiations are going on. We will not fight. 30-day transition period for restoration of maritime traffic. Because it won't be that easy to restore. Why? What Iran has actually did is mines, M-I-N-E-S, M-I-N-E-S. Underwater mines. Underwater mines have been placed. So that needs to be removed. That will take time. That is almost like the landmine. That is, you step over it, it will blast. Something similar to that. So any disturbance that happens, because any movement that happens in the water, that the bomb will get triggered and it will blast. So all that needs to be removed. The blockades needs to be removed. The military vessels needs to be removed. It will take time. So for that, a 30-day time period. The agreement differs from the 2015 Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action because it addresses both Iran's nuclear program and the broader US-Iran political relationship. So there is a difference between the JCPOA. What is this JCPOA? Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. Again, it is given in your PDF towards the end. We will see that time. All right. Clause 1. End to hostilities on all fronts, including Lebanon. The clause formally ends hostilities on all fronts. Whatever fights are there, whatever issues are there, on all the fronts, means any form of attack, every form of missile firing, all that will be stopped. Lebanon is incorporated into the US-Iran cessation of hostilities framework. The clause strengthens the earlier April 8 ceasefire agreement. Now, what is this Lebanon being mentioned here? Issue is between US and Iran. Why Lebanon is being mentioned? And to understand that, I initially thought we will discuss it towards the end, but it is better to understand it straight away. So just go down in your PDF also. Come down a little. Let us try to understand this Israel-Lebanon angle in the conflict. Because USA and Israel together attacked Iran. But in between all that, Israel was taking out its vengeance even in Lebanon. The question is why? Why Lebanon? That is what we need to know here. So let us go to the history of this. At independence, Lebanon was widely regarded as a Christian majority country, and its sectarian political order reflected that balance. President was reserved for a Maronite Christian, the prime minister for a Sunni Muslim, and the speaker of parliament for a Shia Muslim. This is how Lebanon used to be. But over time, this balance changed. Higher Muslim birth rates, Christian emigration, the arrival of Palestinian refugees after 1948. Palestinian refugees entered Lebanon, especially after 1948. What is the reason? Briefly, let me tell you this. See, if you actually see, was there an independent Palestine in the Middle East? A state called Palestine, was it there? Historically, if you ask me, the answer is no. So Jerusalem and the surrounding regions, if you generally see, Jewish people have settled there, remained there always. True. Jewish people were there. But just because Palestine was not there, doesn't mean there was no Arab population there. There was an Arab population at that point of time. There was an Arab population. So, especially after collapse of the Ottoman Empire, because that region actually used to be under Ottoman Empire. Ottoman Empire was defeated during the First World War. So British took possession of all the territory or the empire of Ottoman Empire. British took the possession. So literally now that Middle East region was under whom? After the First World War, under the British. Now the British being British, what did they do? On one side, they told the Arabs that we will allow you to have self-rule. That is, we will give you independence eventually, don't worry. On the other side, what did they tell the Jewish people? Jewish people, again, if you really see, it is one persecuted community. Wherever they have been, historically, they have been massacred, they have been killed. Multiple accounts are there. So the Jewish people were finally promised, especially after the Second World War, that yes, we will allow you to come and settle where? In your birthplace, Jerusalem. So promise was given to them also. So now the question, like, how are you going to do it? Because the Arab people don't want Jewish people there. Even though Jewish people, even though a minority population has lived there since a very long time, Arab people did not want Jewish people to be there. Jewish people, on the contrary, they said, no, now we have faced enough of atrocities in our life. At least now we want to reclaim our land. Finally, as usual, the very useless organization, UN interfered. Gave a two-state solution. That two-state solution was accepted by Israel. It was rejected by the Arabs. And just like our partition, when our partition took place, when we also didn't have a clue, because the boundary award, the Radcliffe Award was not made public until the last minute. So especially for people living along the East Pakistan, India border, that is Bangladesh and India, West Pakistan, India border, there was a lot of confusion. So many people thinking that, okay, now this is India, we came to what was Pakistan. People thinking this was Pakistan, they came to India. So like that, lot of confusion, lot of murder, lot of riots, all that used to happen. Same thing happened here also in 1948. Arabs were displaced from their homes in the name of this two-state solution. And these Arabs, where did they move to? A good majority of them actually moved into Lebanon. This is what had happened. Got the point here? This is what had happened. It had nothing to do with what? Some outstanding issue or anything. If you actually see, are Israelis right? Yes. Are the Arabs right? Yes. They both are right. The problem was that without taking full consent or without taking everybody's, proper dialogue and process, the whole partition was done. Many of the Arabs who got displaced from there because of the Israeli occupation, they went into Lebanon, they settled there. Now, when they settled there, what happened? Settled there, the demography of Lebanon changed. Lebanon, which was a majority Christian nation, now became a Muslim nation. In the current scenario, today it is a Muslim nation. That understanding is also equally important. I'll tell you the reason why, because keep that in mind till here. The rise of armed Palestinian factions, obviously, because when they had to go away like this, in the surrounding areas, in and around the surrounding areas of Israel, where people were fighting for an independent Palestine, armed groups started rising, especially like the PLO, PLF, multiple groups were there, all having different ideologies, etc., but one aim: an independent Palestine state or complete destruction of Israel. That is, for them, ultimately, for most of these groups, the agenda was, if you kill one Israeli at least, one Jew at least, if you are killing, that itself is a great thing. This became their thought process. This understanding is also important for our next set of discussion. The Lebanese civil war, Syrian intervention as in Syrian country, Israeli invasions and repeated political and economic crises weakened the earlier Christian-dominated order. Christians gradually ceased to be generally regarded as a majority, though precise current figures remain politically sensitive because Lebanon has not conducted a census for decades. Official and unofficial figures put it somewhere between 1/3 of the population to 40%. This weakening of the central state and the deepening of sectarian politics created conditions in which non-state armed groups, especially Hezbollah, could grow into powerful actors. So in other words, what happened was that Lebanon became weak politically. No strong government, and even if it is a government, it was divided on the basis of sects: Shia, Sunni, Christian. That Christian, among Christians again, different categories. So all this kept what? A weak government there. And whenever you have a weak government, no matter which state you are in, it will always create what? Extremist groups to, it's a fertile ground for the extremist groups to grow. One such extremist group that grew out of this was the Hezbollah. The broader regional backdrop began in 1948 when the establishment of Israel was accompanied by the displacement of more than 750,000 Palestinian Arabs in the Nakba. Got it? Many of the displaced fled north to Lebanon. In the 1960s and 70s, militants affiliated with the Palestinian Liberation Organization built bases in southern Lebanon and used the area as launchpad for attacks on Israeli towns. Conflict between Palestinian groups and Lebanese Christian militias deepened in a wider Cold War context shaped by Soviet support for Arab actors and US backing for the Christian coalition. Means what? So Palestinians also were there, right? Who grew. Even they also started going to where? Be in Lebanon. And Lebanon, geographically speaking, if this is north, this is south, you have Israel here. So the PLOs, the Palestinian militant outfits, they were mostly in the southern region to target Israel. And the Cold War era saw what? Cold War era saw the Russians backing the Arabs and the Americans backing the Christian military groups. Christian military groups in Lebanon. Why Christian military groups? Because the Christian community in Lebanon were unhappy with the fact that these many refugees have come here. Arab refugees have come to my country. Why have they come? Got the point here? And the government was weak. Government was not in a strength or in a position to resist the Arab refugees who have come. So Christian militant groups started forming to resist the Arab invaders there, which got support from the US during the Cold War era. Any doubts still here? Seeds of war. See, seeds of war, even if they would have planted, it is left to the countries also to come into their senses and decide what is right and what is wrong for them. That also we need to understand here. 1975 to 82 Civil War, Beaufort Castle and Israeli invasions. During the Lebanese Civil War, 1975 to 1990, the PLO, Palestinian Liberation Organization, and its local allies took control of strategic positions in southern Lebanon, including Beaufort Castle, also known as Kalat al-Shakif. This is a 12th century castle. All right. Now, as you can clearly see, it is not in its, glory like how it used to be in the 12th century. It has lost all its glory because it has been bombarded, etc. But why capture of this castle is so significant? Because this is at a hill, on top of a hill this is. So whoever occupies this Beaufort Castle, they have a good view down south. Where is this castle? This castle is in southern Lebanon. And south of Lebanon, what do you have? You have Israel. So capturing this castle simply means from here you can use this as a launch pad to attack Israel. That is the beauty. The fortress is located near the Litani River. Please mark it in your atlas again. And overlooks parts of southern Lebanon and the Israeli-Lebanese border region. Although it was originally built in the Crusader era, its modern significance comes less from its medieval history and more from its role as a military position. During the Lebanese Civil War, Israel's invasion of Lebanon and later confrontations involving Hezbollah. That means this Beaufort Castle, again it is in news. Again it is in news because capturing this castle is like, you have made a major victory. So it has always been a flashpoint in Israel-Lebanon relationship. Its elevated location gave it a commanding view of the surrounding valleys and approaches, making it strategically valuable in successive conflicts. Israeli advances in southern Lebanon. Now, as of now, when we speak, what is the current situation? So, as you can clearly see, this is Lebanon, and south here you have Israel. Can you see this yellow color like shade here? This one. The dark blue line is the UN blue line, demarcated by UN. This one. What Israel has done is, Israel has made this like a buffer zone. It is actually the territory inside Lebanon. But Israel has actually made it like a buffer zone. Why buffer zone? So that immediate attack will not come into Israel. And Israel's current plan is, Israel has already recaptured the Beaufort castle. Israel's current plan is to push this yellow region further northwards. Further northwards, so that an immediate attack will not come on Israel, even if a missile is launched or a rocket is launched. Got the point here? In 1978, after the coastal road. So now the next set of detailing, if you really see, from an exam point of view, if you really ask me, is it important? Not at all. Because not a single question has come regarding this directly, at least in any of the UPSC prelims or mains. Locations, yes. Analytically, maybe you may have to write 1 or 2 sentences maybe in your answer. That the West Asian conflict can always increase the crude oil price. The next set of details or data, in a nutshell, I will tell you what it is. That is, like I told you, an average Arab, Palestinian Arab in the region, for them, like I told you, even killing one Israeli Jew is a victory. Getting the point here. Now, the thing what you need to understand here is, we are talking about the Israelis here. You touch one of them, they will come like a swarm of bees. Getting the point? That is, imagine you took a stone and threw it at a beehive. A beehive, you threw a stone. 1 or 2 bees will definitely die. But what will happen then? Those entire bees will come after you, and they are not going to leave you till they kill you. Correct? That's exactly what the average Israelis mindset is. You touch me, I am going to finish you. You touched my brother, I am going to finish you. You touched my family, I am definitely going to finish you once and for all. That is their mindset. So from this point onwards, what we see is, you can read it and you will understand. From this point onwards, what we see is either Palestinian Liberation Organization or Hezbollah, they will come and give one prick on Israel. Maybe killing their diplomat or killing 1 or 2 civilians, etc. How will Israel retaliate? Israel retaliates with full might. Full military might, they come back. And when they come with full military might, what does Hezbollah do, or Palestinian Liberation Organizations or other Palestinian pro-Palestinian militias? What do? Oh, see, Israel is attacking us. See, look what is happening to our children. See what is happening to our women. Getting the point here? It is a highly unequal war, in the sense that how it is unequal. Now, when terrorists target 1 or 2 civilians, it will not come as a front page news. Ultimately, 2 civilians, Israeli civilians died. That's how the world may react to it. When Israelis come with all their aircrafts, their tankers, their spy agents, etc., and they attack, that will come in front page news. School destroyed, that destroyed, this destroyed, women crying, children crying, that becomes front news. Got the point here? So this is not a new thing. This has been going on since, if you really ask me, since the 60s and 70s, this is going on repeatedly. Say, for example, I'll just read this one to you. In 1978, of the coastal road massacre near Tel Aviv, that's the capital, in which Palestinian militants based in Lebanon killed 38 Israeli civilians. Note the point. Israel launched Operation Litani and invaded southern Lebanon. For killing 38 of my civilians, I am going to take your country only. Go. This is Israel's attitude. Got the point here? So we cannot take a side here. Who is right, who is wrong? But one thing is for sure, it is always like, Israel is like, I will tell you, like a giant in the region. Why they are a giant is because one thing what makes them stand out is their brains. UAE is there, Qatar is there, Oman is there, Bahrain is there, Kuwait is there, Saudi Arabia is there, Iraq is there, Iran is also there. Some 7-8 countries are there. Correct? All are Arab countries. But none of them are known for technology, right? When it comes to any sort of technology that we are talking about, If you actually go and find the roots of it, you will find there is an Israeli behind it or a Jew behind it. Sometimes people even say that, I'm not sure to what extent it is true, but sometimes people even say that the Arab majority there are actually jealous of the Israeli minority because of the intellectual prowess as well as the technological advancements that they have. That is a reality. Because from such a small country, even India is dependent on Israel for what? Military technology, spy technology. India buys crude oil from the Middle Eastern countries, but when it comes to Israel, we need only what from them? We need technology from them. We need new methods of agriculture from them. Water, how to save using less water, how we can grow more agriculture, how we can improve our agricultural productivity. Got the picture here? So, this kept on happening. 1982, Israel invaded Lebanon again in what came to be known as the First Lebanon War or Operation Peace for Galilee. Galilee is the northernmost part, like the northern part of Israel. Why did Israel attack? The immediate trigger was the attempted assassination of Israel's ambassador to the UK, Shlomo Argov, on June 3rd, 1982, by members of the Abu Nidal organization, a Palestinian splinter group hostile to the PLO. Hostile to the PLO means they were against the Palestinian Liberation Organization. Two Palestinian groups, but they are against each other. But they are united in one cause, complete destruction of Israel. Got the point? Israel nonetheless blamed the PLO and used the shooting as its justification for war. The main stated objective was to push Palestinian militant forces 40 kilometers north of Israeli border. During this invasion, Israeli forces attacked and captured Beaufort Castle from the PLO, built a military base on the site and occupied it for the next 18 years. When did this happen? 1982. 1982 plus 18 means till the year 2000. The Beaufort Castle was with Israel. Israeli forces along with their Lebanese Christian allies also laid siege to Beirut. Beirut is the capital, forcing the evacuation of PLO leaders from Lebanon. See, it is not about Israel going after. How you go after also matters. How you go after. What? See, this is where Operation Sindoor stands apart. Operation Sindoor, if you really see, when we launched attacks, did Pakistan say these many women died, these many children died? Pakistan couldn't say that. We targeted only their military bases, which was a clear warning that this is, if I can come till here, I can come to any extent possible. Got the point? That is how Operation Sindoor stands apart. Now you must understand here, Pakistan is a country with doctored images. That is the images what Pakistan procured from Palestine. Whatever attack Israel did on Palestine, and whatever images were there, crying images, images of kids with sharpeners and injuries on their face. Pakistan took all these photographs and came to UN and said, see, this is what is happening in Kashmir. This is what is happening in Kashmir. India's ambassador told, those are all images from Palestine. Those are not true. So imagine if in Operation Sindoor, even if one civilian would have died, Pakistan would have gone all around the world telling that India is a bad country, India is not a democracy anymore, India is under a dictatorship, see how they are attacking us. Pakistan would have made a sob story. Got the point here? Early 1980s to 2000, emergence and consolidation of Hezbollah. Hezbollah, otherwise the meaning of it is Party of God, was formed in the early 1980s in response to the Israeli occupation of southern Lebanon. The reaction now. Southern Lebanon was occupied by Israel. Beaufort Castle occupied by Israel. So obviously there is bound to be a reaction, and that reaction was what? Hezbollah. Party of God was created. And this Hezbollah, when it got formed, they got the blessings from Iran. Got the point here? It emerged as a militant Shia organization, but also developed into a political party with representation in the Lebanon's government. So you must understand, it was not just a militant organization. It also was a political organization. It was a political party. Iran, under the regime established after the 1979 Islamic Revolution, backed Hezbollah with money, weapons, training, and ideological support. How a random global event, how a random isolated event in Iran actually led to what? Actually led to further uh, intensifying the crisis that was there. That is, in Iran, basically, again, a communist government was there. It was overthrown. Pakka, radical Islamic rule started coming there. And the regime change took place in 79. They started supporting Hezbollah. So for Iran and Hezbollah together formed like an alliance, and for their common enemy, which was Israel. Iran saw this both as a way to export the ideals of the revolution and to challenge Israel's dominance. That is, Iran saw this as a nice thing now. That is, slowly, by cooperating with Hezbollah, they will even make Lebanon also what? Bring Islamic revolution there. And like that, they will spread that revolution all over the Middle East. And then they will wipe out Israel. This was the big or the greater picture that they saw. Hezbollah's initial goal was to resist Israeli occupation. That was only their initial. Initially, that was the only thing. From southern Lebanon, I have to wipe out Israel. That is why Hezbollah was formed. But as it grew stronger, its objectives expanded to opposing Western influence in the region and seeking a theocratic state in Lebanon. Theocratic state means a religious state, similar to the one established in Iran after 1979. They also wanted to establish a Pakka radical Islamic rule in Lebanon. Who wanted? Hezbollah wanted. By 1985, Israel had withdrawn from most of Lebanon but maintained a 15 to 20 kilometer wide security zone in southern Lebanon to prevent cross-border attacks. The zone was patrolled by the South Lebanon Army, a Christian militia allied with Israel. So Israel also played the same dirty game. If Iran colluded with Hezbollah, Israel also did what? Okay, Christian militia, whoever are there, military groups, militant groups are there, try to form an alliance there. But it was not easy for Israel. The reason being that, see, ultimately you are in a foreign territory. There is a limitation to which people will fight for you. Whereas the Hezbollah you talk about, the Arabs you talk about, they are there since 1948, and they are there because all said and done, you drove them out there. So who, if you actually ask me who really created Hezbollah, Israel only created. By driving out the original Arabs from the region, thanks to the two-nation policy, the resentment was always there. Bloody Israel. That is there inside an average Arab in that region. Now you captured Beaufort Castle and southern Lebanon. What happened? They came together. They formed Party of God, Hezbollah. So they are driven more by emotion. Israeli forces or these so-called Christian militia forces, they are driven only by what? Government order or money. The occupation became a prolonged military entanglement that fueled Hezbollah's rise as the main resistance force in southern Lebanon. For Iran also, this was a God-sent opportunity, or even for the Palestinian organizations, because now for Iran it basically meant Palestinian liberation organizations, whatever affiliated groups they have, the Hezbollah, all these, and Iran, it's in Iran also, all these became what? Groups for Israel to deal with. Gandhari curse. In 1996, Israel launched Operation Grapes of Wrath, a 17-day campaign against Hezbollah. Israel advanced militarily, but the campaign caused heavy civilian casualties and increased the support for Hezbollah. Hezbollah's ability to provide healthcare and education won its substantial support among Lebanon's marginalized Shia population, especially in the south. By the late 90s, Israel's presence in southern Lebanon had become increasingly costly and unpopular. Hezbollah continued a war of attrition, and in 2000, Israel withdrew from southern Lebanon. Got the point here? Like I told you, how long will you keep capturing another territory where the people don't want you? Where the people don't want you, you are capturing the territory. No, this is for our security. That is, imagine if at all. See, India has the military might today to go and capture POK. India has the complete military might. There is no doubt about it. We have the missiles, we have the men, we have the capabilities. We can easily destroy, because before even Pakistan knows from in where to attack us, just destroy a few ports of theirs and capture POK. It is easy, a walk in the park. But what is the problem? We will face the same issue. We will have to keep sending our troops to POK where they'll keep getting killed. We'll have to keep funding it. For how long? Eventually, what will happen? We ourselves will have to take that decision. Okay, let us demilitarize that zone. Let us bring our troops back. Which would only mean what? A victory for Pakistan, a defeat for India. Which is exactly what happened here. 1982, Israel captured Beaufort Castle and parts of southern Lebanon. But an 18 years prolonged conflict, constantly your men are dying, constantly you're pumping in money. Finally, they were like, okay, fine, we are leaving this place. Now, when you do that, what happened? So, you left it thinking that, okay, I want peace. Enough, I am leaving. It's okay, I am leaving. You came out. But Hezbollah, pro-Palestinian organizations saw this as a moral victory. They saw this as the first defeat of the official first defeat of the Israelis against the Arabs. It only increased their confidence. That is, if I can push them out of Lebanon, southern Lebanon, if I can push them out, I can push them out of Israel also. Yes, this is our moment. The conflict only escalated after this. It did not actually subside. Hezbollah celebrated this as the first Arab victory against Israel, and it had in effect pushed a militarily stronger Israel out of Lebanese territory. Israel also withdrew from Beaufort Castle in 2000, but the fortress retained both symbolic and strategic significance because it remained tied to Israel's occupation and Hezbollah's rise as a resistance force. Former Indian ambassador to Lebanon, Sanjeev Arora, later described Beaufort Castle as a powerful symbol of Lebanese sovereignty and pride, and said its history had long been intertwined with military and sectarian conflicts. Clear till here? All right. Hezbollah as a military political force. Now, what is the new player who got added in this? The new player who got added later into this whole list who was never in the scene actually, but later came to the picture, was Syria. Syria also got added into this. Again, Arab country, Arab regime. From at least 2003, Ba'ath is Syria. Ba'ath is the family that was ruling Syria, acted as a land bridge, linking Iran and Hezbollah through Iraq, facilitating the movement of money, weapons, and logistical support. So this is basically Galilee, northern part. That is Lebanon right there. And that is Lebanon, Hezbollah, through Syria, Iraq, Iran. So now look at the predicament of Israel again. Syria giving support to Lebanon or to Hezbollah, and through Iraq, Syria ensured that money and any other support, whatever Hezbollah needed, they got that. The West Bank region, you had Palestinian forces, the Hamas, etc. Hamas, etc. Resisting Israel. So all this put together, it was actually creating more and more conflict-like situation for Israel. By this period, Hezbollah had become a state within the state in Lebanon, combining military power, political presence, and social service networks. All the three. Government had little or no control over this, because thanks to their education and health services, what they were doing, they had support from the people. They had military backing. Weapons were easily flowing from Iraq, Syria, etc. They were easily getting access to it. Plus political presence. Even the government also, they had political presence. So the Lebanese government never took any effective action against them. 2006, Hezbollah killed 3 Israeli soldiers and abducted 2 others, demanding the release of Lebanese prisoners in exchange. Israel responded with another war in Lebanon. 1,200 Lebanese and 159 Israelis were killed. Israel was unable to dismantle Hezbollah's military infrastructure and had to agree to a ceasefire and withdraw. Because Hezbollah was becoming so strong where, see, they don't have to answer to anybody. Israeli government, ultimately, they have to answer to its people. When the soldiers die, especially when 159 Israelis die, they have to answer. So the people were demanding, enough, let go, leave. It is okay, let them be. You come back. Let us look into our territory, our matter. After 2006, an uneasy calm prevailed along the Israel-Lebanon border. Hezbollah continued to build a formidable arsenal. Arsenal means their military hardware, if you see, started consisting of unguided artillery rockets as well as ballistic anti-air, anti-tank and anti-ship missiles. They were getting access to everything. Money was there, every support was there. They were getting all these weapons easily. They became an inspiration for the Hamas later. Hezbollah's actions, etc., later became an inspiration for Hamas. Hezbollah gained extensive battlefield experience in the Syrian civil war, where it fought alongside the forces of President Bashar al-Assad. So President Bashar al-Assad, whenever he had any internal issues, when people revolted against him, he used Hezbollah. And how did he repay Hezbollah? By giving them, what do you want? Weapons. Here, take how much ever you want. Its involvement was especially important from 2015 to 2018, when it played a crucial role in helping turn the war in Assad's favor. Got the point here? Hezbollah's use of civilian areas for military operations made it difficult for Israel to retaliate without causing collateral damage. This became a classic tactic that was used by and is still used by all the militant organizations in the Middle Eastern region. That is, see, with all the technology that the Israelis are having, you really think that the Israelis do not know where a hospital is, or where a school is, or where a graveyard is? They know. Then why are they attacking it? Because sitting in the hospital, underground tunnels, using the hospital's building, etc., that is where, be it the Hamas or be it the Hezbollah or whichever other organizations are there, they launch their attack on Israel. So if Israel launches a counter attack, it is always going to land definitely on a hospital, definitely on a school. So they won't attack directly. They attack like this. If Israel is relaunched back, hospitals get destroyed, schools get destroyed, plus the whole propaganda. Look, Israelis, you would have seen plenty of images, all eyes at Gaza, all that thing. But what, even many people would have shared it also, but what many won't tell actually is, why is it that always Israeli missiles exactly goes and lands on hospitals, exactly goes and lands on schools? Because that is where these people do their operations from. If Israelis don't attack, they will continue with their attack. If Israelis attack, children and women will get killed. Any which way, propaganda war you're talking about, military war you're talking about, Hamas and Hezbollah will win on any day. See, it is not that I missed, it is just that I skipped because it is not important for us. Israeli government had not adequately considered de-escalation options and that some of its military goals were unclear. That is, you attacked. Israel responded with another war in Lebanon. Israel responded. But what was the goal of the war? What was your aim there? That was not clear. Are you going to destroy Hezbollah? Or are you going to capture southern Lebanon? Or are you going to put up some proxy government in Lebanon? Clarity was not there. Any military action when you take, you should have a clear-cut defined goal. Retaliation for the sake of retaliation when you do, without any clear-cut goal, it will only lead to defeat. As well as public anger, which is what happened in the year 2006. Hezbollah's tactics, especially guerrilla warfare and rocket attacks, influenced Palestinian groups and other Iran-backed militias. The group also carried out suicide bombings. Israel, the US, many Western governments, and the Gulf Cooperation Council have designated Hezbollah as a terrorist organization or described it in similar terms. Now, one thing you must understand here is Hezbollah, or be it Hamas, or be it your Palestinian Liberation Organization and whichever other militant groups are there, when they attack, they are also again attacking what, okay, I can kill one Israeli. That is all that they are thinking. But in that attack process, even they have attacked Saudi Arabian embassy. Saudi Arabian embassy has come under attack. Even other Gulf countries, their assets have come under attack. That is another reason why Palestinians don't actually have the support what they had in the 50s, 60s and 70s. They don't have it among the Arab nations anymore. Be it UAE, be it Saudi Arabia, etc. UAE and Saudi Arabia, they won't even take Palestinian refugees into their country. I don't know how many of you are aware of it. They won't allow them. Because they know it very well. If you allow them, then the next thing that they will do is they will use UAE as a base to launch their attack on Israel. They don't want that. Clear? Moving on. Hezbollah, by contrast, presents itself as a resistance movement defending Lebanese territory. October 23, November 24. From the Gaza war to ceasefire, uneasy calm along the Israel-Lebanon border was once again broken by Hamas. October 7, 2023 attack on Israel. Again, unprecedented. Unprecedented it was. That is no reason. Just simply going and attacking. After Israel launched its invasion of Gaza, Hezbollah fired rockets into the Sheba farms, a Lebanese territory which was occupied by Israel. Israel responded with airstrikes, and this triggered further Hezbollah rocket attacks that displaced thousands of Israeli from the Upper Galilee region. In 2024, Israel intensified efforts to weaken Hezbollah's command structure. It carried out the pager explosions targeting Hezbollah's mid-level commanders, causing around 40 deaths and more than 3,000 injuries. Now what is it? Like I told you, that October attack which happened on Israel by Hamas, there is no justification for it. Unarmed civilians were killed. Irrespective of whether they are man or woman, they were raped. Okay, they were raped. Captured, made them, kidnapped them, then took them to their whatever, their hideout or were. They were raped and killed. Even on the dead bodies, least respect was shown that they, at least it is a human being. Dead. At least now you leave it. No. So the anger was understood. Like now Israel is not going to sit quietly. Israel is going to come with with an iron hand. So that is when, if you remember this whole thing, all eyes on Gaza, that whole crap was circulating in the media, as well as it was even being shared by Bollywood celebrities who don't even know where they are, who only knows what are the different international brands out there, only worried about Louis Vuitton and Prada and all that, but they have no idea how many states or union territories are there even in India. But they were all busy sharing, all eyes on Gaza, all eyes on Gaza. Because everybody knew Israel is not going to sit quietly. And Israel didn't sit quietly. So on one side, Israel was taking care of Hamas. On the other side, Hezbollah started launching rockets. So Israel was like, enough is enough. I want to take care of this Hezbollah once and for all. Now Hezbollah people were also very intelligent. They were very clear on one thing, that they will not use mobile phones. What they were using pagers. I don't know whether your generation will be knowing it. Watch some 90s movies to know what a pager is. Small device like this. You can keep it on your belt buckle. Belt buckle you keep it. So there you will get to know, if I want to call you something, I will dial your pager. So the number will appear on it. Who called you? Then you can go to the nearby phone booth or something. I can dial the person, ask, yeah, what is it? Why did you call me? I can get the message. So there is no 2G, 3G, internet, nothing. So Israelis being Israelis, what did they do? They found out which brand of pagers these Hezbollah militant commanders are using. Track down the company. Without it, whether the company knew it or not, I don't know. They tracked down those pages, one entire batch of pages. They armed it with bombs. So they had the phone numbers. They knew which commander. So not the phone numbers. So I'll tell you how it worked. So, yeah, I think phone numbers only. Yeah, phone numbers. So the moment that particular phone number will ring, that pager's number will ring, they will get to know, this pager, it is this particular commander. They will activate remotely that bomb. Boom. So initially nobody thought of it much, but back to back, when 30 Hezbollah commanders are going to die because of pager that is exploding in and around your waist area, or the pager that you held in your hand, automatically they also started thinking, what is with this pager? And that is when they discovered that inside the pager they have kept these bombs, which will trigger only if Israelis also give access to it. Clear? It carried, yeah, that is done. Israel also killed members of Hezbollah's top leadership, throwing the entire group into disarray. In September 2024, Israel assassinated Hezbollah's Secretary General Hassan Nasrallah in an airstrike. Israel's plan was to disrupt Hezbollah's command structure before launching a ground offensive. During the fighting, Israel pushed Hezbollah fighters away from the border and occupied strategically important regions in southern Lebanon. In November 24, Israel and Hezbollah agreed to a ceasefire after a month-long Israeli campaign aimed at weakening Hezbollah. In the second half of this fight, second half, why I am telling is because this has been going on since a long time, since 1980s, 82 onwards, this is going. Second half of the story, if you see, Hezbollah got weakened drastically. Top leadership, middle leadership almost wiped out. Almost wiped out. Plus lack of unity, lack of a clear structure. So a ceasefire was brought in between Iran and Hezbollah in 24. However, Israel continued airstrikes almost every day in Lebanon, targeting Hezbollah positions, while Hezbollah hardly retaliated. That is, this is where now Israel made a difference. They signed a ceasefire and all for name's sake. But Israel was very, very clear. We are going to take down every last one of them. Every last one of them will be taken out. So daily they will launch airstrikes at Hezbollah outposts. Israel has also remained in 5 positions in southern Lebanon. December 25 to February 26, Syria's collapse and Hezbollah's weakening. Now, what was the other event? So, just like how Syria's presence supported Hezbollah initially, now Syria collapsed. The Bashar al-Assad regime totally collapsed. Bashar al-Assad, his family, they entirely left Syria and left the place. So no more support is directly there for whom? Hezbollah. Whatever support. And Iraq was already finished. Iraq was already over. Saddam Hussein is also over. What is remaining is Iran. Around the same period, regional developments further weakened Hezbollah. Abu Muhammad al-Galoni, a former Al-Qaeda jihadist who had been running Syria's Idlib, launched a campaign to take over Damascus. Syrian army, already weakened by hundreds of Israeli airstrikes, was in a poor condition. Syria's three main supporters were Iran, Russia, and the Hezbollah. Russia was busy with Ukraine. Iran's room for maneuver was limited, and Hezbollah had been pushed back by Israeli attacks. Because from the map itself, I told you, the map itself, if you see, Iraq is already finished. Iraq is already over. For Hezbollah, whatever support they needed Syria for it. But Syria's condition also was in a very tricky position. Then it was Iran. From sitting here for Iran to support Hezbollah, which is there in southern Lebanon, was not going to be easy. Correct? And who was the other supporter? Other supporter was Russia. Russia was busy with Ukraine. Got the point here. And Putin also would have thought this Bashar al-Assad is not such a great president. People are protesting against him since 2015. If the regime has to change, let it change. Because from Syria, there was nothing much that Russia had to gain from. They were least interested. Clear? It took only 12 days for Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, formerly Jabhat al-Nusra, to capture Damascus. The fall of Assad's government in 25 cut a vital link between Hezbollah and Iran, which further weakened both the sides. From the early 1980s, Iran had provided Hezbollah with money, weapons, and training, while Ba'ath Syria had acted as the land bridge between the two through Iraq at least since 2003. But now, what was the problem that Iran was facing? Iran was facing sanctions from the West. So Iran itself was in an economically weaker position. So if you literally see, no support is there for whom now? Hezbollah now. And obviously, Israel decided this is it. This is the right time. When your enemy is at its weakest, crush it and eliminate it completely. In the following months, Israel continued to pound Hezbollah while the group hardly retaliated. At the same time, Hezbollah used the period to rebuild its command structure and replenish its arsenals, preparing for an eventual war. In February 2026, after Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was killed in a joint Israeli-American airstrike, Hezbollah fired hundreds of rockets into northern Israel. Because Hezbollah was also tired. Hezbollah was like, what nonsense? I am going on keeping quiet and you people killed our supreme leader also. Then this is it. Israel retaliated with airstrikes and this was followed by the present ground offensive. When Israel and the US killed Khamenei, Hezbollah effectively joined the war, drawing thousands of troops into Lebanon. On March 2, Hezbollah began a fresh wave of attacks and has since fired more than 1,000 rockets and drones at Israel in what it described as a message that it still possessed attack capabilities. On Monday, March 3, the Israeli Defense Forces said its troops were operating in southern Lebanon to target Hezbollah. A few strikes were also reported in Beirut, capital city. This is just details of the attack. The ground offensive was concentrated on hilltop towns in southern Lebanon, where the IDF are facing stiff resistance from Hezbollah fighters, particularly in Qiyam, a high plateau overlooking the Hula Valley in the south. All these places are in Lebanon. Israel has actually issued evacuation orders for the whole of southern Lebanon and for some neighborhoods north of the Litani River. It has also borne bridges on the river to cut supplies to the Hezbollah and is pressing the Lebanese government to act against and disarm the group. Hezbollah's position is that it is defending Lebanese territory. It continues to resist with asymmetrical tactics. Asymmetrical tactics means there is nothing organized about their attack structure. Random attack, randomly attacking sometimes from here, sometimes from there, like that it is. Israel is always fighting how they manage their economy. They are managing their economy because, like I told you, their technology is used worldwide. Their technology is used everywhere. Their missiles, their drones, all these are used everywhere. It is from that they are making money from. Economically, they have that money to run the whole show there. And it is not like our country. Trust me. In our country, even today, some from the opposition will still ask, Operation Sindoor was a failure. They still say. In Israel, they don't expect the opposition party to do that. Opposition will do the work of only the opposition. But when an external attack comes on Israel, they all stand as one and then they'll be like, okay, this is it. Let's finish it off. That's how those people function. While Israel again seeks to push Hezbollah out militarily, an approach it has tried several times in the past and failed, Hezbollah, though weakened by regional developments, is still mounting resistance. It is the Lebanese people, unfortunately, who are caught in the middle. Got a point? This is what is going on. Beaufort Castle in the current war. Over 1 weekend during the renewed fighting, Israel reoccupied the Beaufort Castle, the 12th century fortress in southern Lebanon. That means the same castle which the Israelis had occupied in 1982, they let go of it in 2000. They have recaptured it in 2026. Just 1 or 2 weeks back. Within this last 2 weeks only this event has occurred. And guaranteed, I will tell you now, at least for the next 20-25 years, don't expect Israelis to let it go. I won't be surprised if Israelis push further northwards, not just southern Lebanon, pushing all the way up even and above Litani River, occupy that entire territory. The site has long been a military flashpoint between Israel, Palestinian groups and Hezbollah, despite a fragile US-brokered ceasefire that had become entangled with wider US-Iran negotiation. Netanyahu presented the capture as both a military and symbolic achievement. This is all about whatever they had to say. Now I will tell you what is the current thing. Current thing is, Iran and US have brokered a peace deal. For how many days? 60 days. Then 30 days to get the maritime trade in order. And one of the main clause in it is all forms of hostilities, including the ones in Lebanon, sab band karo. Why Lebanon has been brought into this Iran-US Memorandum of Understanding? Because Iran and Hezbollah's illicit relationship. Iran wants no further attack to happen on Lebanon, means no further attack on Hezbollah also should happen. As usual, the pedophile president, Mr. Donald Trump, he happily agreed to it. He happily agreed to it. And Israel is like, किससे पूछकर? With whose permission did you even ask us? With whose permission did you go and agree that in Lebanon all hostilities will stop? Like, whom did you go and ask? Did you ask us? So Israel is like nothing doing. We will destroy Hezbollah. It is our country and our this thing ultimately. Our security it is. It is you तू कौन होता है बे peace लाने के लिए? That is Israel's stance. And what is Mr. Pedophile telling? Pedophile is telling, you are there because of me. Don't forget that. You are there because of me. Are you serious? Like seriously serious? I mean, that guy is gone cuckoo only. He's gone to the point where I think he's even jealous of the fact that Melanie always wants to talk with Modi ji. Unable to bear the jealousy, that guy went on record to say, Melanie has been asking me for a selfie. She's been begging me for a selfie. I mean, seriously, dude. I don't know whether it is international politics these days or whether it is, what is it, that Klaska one Chomo will be there. Klaska one glorious couple will be there who are good friends. Then that one friend will be there who knows whatever is happening and he is having a doubt, yaar, ye kya ho raha hai yahan par? Chomo, no surprises. That one best friend who is actually doubting what is happening, who knows everything what is happening there, that is our dear Jaishankar. Then that glorious couple, well, you decide who it is. Any doubts till here? Till here now, any doubts? Now, understand one thing. As most of you, some of you have already said, sir, war has again broke out. War has again broke out in the region because Israel has launched attack on Lebanon. So Iran has basically once again blocked the Strait of Hormuz. I was expecting it, to be very honest. It was not a surprise for me because Israel made it very clear, we will protect our interests. For that, we will go to any extent. Who are you to broker a deal on behalf of us? You don't want to attack Lebanon, you don't attack, but I am going to attack. We knew that it was going to happen, but I didn't know in such a short duration. Thode aur din to intezar karte. Got the point here? Thode aur din. This is what the media want us to believe. What I feel is US knew that Israel will attack Lebanon. Why? As usual, $75 per barrel. Last week alone, the drop in crude oil prices was by 10%. If crude oil prices goes down, dollar demand also will go down. Dollar demand, I have to retain it high means I need to keep this crisis like this, on and off, on and off. Kabhi ha, kabhi na, kabhi ha, kabhi na. And that is also the way I can teach India a lesson. Again, that statement given by Mr. Trump. Next time if Pakistan comes to attack you, come to me. I will deal with them. Next time if Pakistan attacks, you won't be getting a call from Islamabad, Mr. Trump. You will be getting a call from Delhi to let you know that all the ports of Pakistan has been finished, destroyed for once and for all, from which there will be no coming back for Pakistan. That is what you are going to get. Clear? Taking it further forward, the 60-day interim period carries the risk of interim bombardment. Already, risk of renewed Israeli bombardment of Lebanon, which has already happened and already the damage has been done. Iran accepted incentives, including immediate removal of the naval blockade in the Strait of Hormuz to refrain from resuming hostilities despite earlier commitments to respond to attacks on Beirut. Now we will just see the main headings here. 14 clauses are there. Now going through all these 14 clauses becomes hopeless and useless now simply because once again attack has started. Clause number 2 was no interference in internal affairs. That is, USA will not interfere in Iran's internal matters. Iran also won't interfere in US internal matters. Extension of the 60-day negotiation period. If the negotiation period should be extended, means that can be done through mutual consent. Removal of US blockade. Whatever blockades are there, sanctions are there, all that will be removed. That is, US Navy had already effectively withdrawn much of the blockade. Whatever blockades, submarines, their aircraft carrier, etc., whatever they brought in, that they will remove. Passage to the Strait of Hormuz. Iran will allow unconditional transit passage to the Strait of Hormuz. Again, not relevant anymore. Iran may also conduct discussions with other Persian Gulf states regarding management of the strait. Iran and Oman may reach a joint framework for the administration of the strait. Future arrangements could resemble Turkish-free arrangements governing the Dardanelles and Bosphorus states. Ab ye kya hai? Ignore the spam section. You need to open the comment section only when you need to type in something. Otherwise, put the screen in maximum and just listen to the class. Don't pay attention to the spammers. There are many people in this country who have never got attention from their parents, who have only been friend-zoned by all the girls in their class, like Trump. So they will show that behavior one way or the other. Now they don't have the money like Trump. So they are facing abject poverty in all fronts. But the worst poverty of all is the poverty of love. So they are here for that attention. So don't give them attention. Deny them again. Keep them garib only in terms of attention and in terms of love. What is this? One of the major things that one of the clauses here was Iran and Oman together will decide how to manage the strait, and they may even keep a fees for it. A fees. From where did they get this idea? They got this idea from Turkey, where Turkey collects a fees for the Dardanelles and the Bosphorus Straits. Again, market people. I have given the map in your book also. So Dardanelles is over here. Bosphorus is here. Black Sea, Sea of Maramar, Aegean Sea. So Aegean Sea through Dardanelles Strait, you enter Sea of Marmara, and from there you enter the Bosphorus Strait and then the Black Sea. So that is the route. Aegean Sea, through the Dardanelles Strait, you enter the Sea of Maramara. Then through the Bosphorus Strait, you enter the Black Sea. Clear? Mark it. Mark it very clearly. Moving on. Such a fee arrangement would create some 11 to $13 million revenue, $13 billion in revenue annually. Future transit arrangements are to conform to applicable international laws. United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea provides for transit passage through international straits. Transit passage means what? You can move through these international straits. These are means it should actually allow you free passage. You cannot actually keep a fees for it. The United States has not ratified the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea. Iran has signed but not ratified it. Before the conflict, Iran did not exercise any right to impose mandatory tolls and merchant vessels transited without such charges. So earlier there was no such charges, but now they are planning to keep such charges. What is the reason for it? The reason is again Iran's economy had gone totally down. So for them, they are basically trying to see now to resuscitate it at the fast as possible. And what is the best way for that? Literally, like I told you, I am spread so well geographically, overlooking that entire Strait of Hormuz region. I can easily ask for what? Make the payment. Number one, US has also allowed for it. Why? Because irrespective of crude oil supply or crude oil demand, price will always remain high. Correct? Price will always remain high because if I am bringing out the oil from there, I have to pay a charge for it. I am taking my ship there to fill it with oil. Again, I'll have to pay a charge for it. So whichever way you see it, cost of crude oil will always stay at a certain level. It is not going to crash too low. It may go up very high, but it won't crash too low. Because in case if oil demand goes down tomorrow also, Iran will ensure that entry you want to make, exit you want to make, you will pay me. Because UAE, Saudi, Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, all those countries are there. Master stroke by USA again. Because obviously what will it ensure? It will always ensure what? Dollar remains high. What does this indicate? This indicates only one thing, that this is all the more reason for India now to source its oil, crude oil needs from other countries. The import part. We need not worry about our export. Export, let it be, because if I'm exporting something, a product to UAE, it is UAE's headache to pay the toll fees, toll charges, etc. Transportation, added cost, whatever is there, it is UAE's headache to pay for it. Got the point? Oil coming from there, if that is priced very high, that will be headache for India. So what has India done for it now? India's daily crude oil consumption is 55 lakh barrels. India now imports crude oil from 40 countries. Earlier, crude imports from routes outside the Strait of Hormuz. Earlier, only 55%. 55% of crude oil used to come from other regions. That means 45% of the crude oil used to come from 45 used to come from Strait of Hormuz. Now 70% of crude oil imports will come from routes outside the Strait of Hormuz. That means dependency on Strait of Hormuz has been reduced to what? 30%. Cutting it down. Got the point? Very good. Just action IND. Clear? Refineries across the country are operating at very high capacity utilization levels, in some cases even above 100%. Because we understood this is never going to end. West Asian crisis will never end. As long as Israelis are there, as long as Palestinians are there, they will keep fighting. And as long as Iran is there and other countries are there which are pro-Palestine or pro-supportive of Palestinian independence, etc., they will have their terrorist groups also. So India, these are things on which India doesn't have any control at all. Any control. Neither Hezbollah is going to listen to India. And India cannot go and tell Israel, hey, you don't attack Hezbollah, you sit there quietly. Gandhian principles let us follow. No, India cannot do that. Because if India is asking Israel to sit quietly, then Israel also will tell India, okay, then do one thing. Next time when Pakistan comes and attacks you, you also sit quietly there. Not possible. So what can India do? India can only play with those factors that they can control. One among it is what? Okay, 70% of our crude oil needs will come from now regions that are outside Strait of Hormuz. Wonderful idea. So after Russia, if you see, the other key suppliers for us in that region are Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and UAE. And oil usage in India, if you see, transport sector dominates 50%. Other sectors, residential use in cooking, something, some in industry, agriculture, power generation. Power generation, it is very almost 0%. 13, 12, 5.5. So others, it is like small amounts. Okay, we can adjust. But the main villain is what? Transport sector. So for that transport sector, what are we doing? Wait a minute. Ethanol blending program. Ethanol blending program, if you see, when we started the blending rate in 22-23, it was 12.06%. And how many dollars did we save that year? Around 24,300 crore that year. I know. So this is in rupees. Dollars converted to rupees, this is as per that year's exchange rate. The next year, the blending rate got pushed to 14.6%. The savings were estimated to be anywhere between 30 to 35,000 crore. 24-25 blending rate is around 19%. The savings rate is around 40,000 crore. In reality, let me tell you, already the blending rate has touched close to 50%. I am not joking. It has already hit 50%. Those of you who are driving either a two-wheeler or a car on a regular basis, you would have actually noticed that your car's mileage would have dropped. So I know I am driving the vehicle that I am driving. Its mileage is around 17 kilometer per liter. If I drive in the correct optimal speed of 60 kilometer per hour and I don't do too much of gear shifts, 17 it will give me, or 16.8, 16.9, definitely it will give me. Sometimes 17.5 also it will go. Nowadays it is hovering around 15. Mushkil se, very difficult it is to go to 15.2. I was wondering 2-3 months ago, I was wondering what has happened suddenly, what happened to the vehicle, but I got the answer from a Malayalam YouTuber. He had actually collected the petrol from different petrol pumps, that is Shell, Bharat Petroleum, Naira, etc. And he calculated how much ethanol was there in each of the 1 liter petrol that he collected from there. It was close to 50%. That means 50% ethanol blending is already done. That means government is already saving a lot of money here. It is not 40,000 crore and all. E85 is also implemented. So 22, 12, 14, 19, 30 and future target is 100% ethanol use. For 100% ethanol use, we are looking at minimum annual foreign exchange saving of 1 lakh crore. 1 lakh crore minimum savings will be there. Got the point here? India gets its 70% crude oil from outside through the Strait of Hormuz. Isn't that costly? No, Sneha. One of the major suppliers in that regard for us is the Russians. And from Russia, 53.5% of the country's total crude imports for the period. We are taking it from them at subsidized rates. That we are taking from them. Then comes Brazil, then comes Venezuela. Saudi is there, UAE is there. But somehow we are managing things now. Got the picture here? Yeah, that will do. Any doubts here? Prices are increasing week by week because the benefit of ethanol blending has not been passed on to the consumers. Has the government really told us to what extent ethanol is present in the fuel? Has the government been very honest about it? No. Because if government is going to be honest, an automatic question will come. Okay, if you're blending, now E85 you're talking about. E85, that means 15% petrol. 85% ethanol. Even if I keep, so 15% petrol means, so even if you keep 100 rupees as the total price of petrol, including the raw material price, state taxes, central taxes, oil marketing companies, everything put together. Center plus state plus oil marketing companies distribution, totally it is 100 rupees means 15% of that means 15 rupees for the petrol. Correct? 85% of ethanol means 85%. One ethanol, 1 liter, how much it should be? How much it will be? 50 rupees. What? How much it will be? 50, 60? 85% of that. Chalo, 90 only you keep. 60 into 90, 54 rupees. 69. That should be the price. That actually should be the price. Government is not giving us any clarity as to which are the pumps where E85 is being used, which are the pumps where E50 is being used, which are the pumps where maybe E20 is being used. Government is not giving any clarity because government is like, jitna aa raha hai, how much ever is coming, let it come. In the form of increased tax and increased money, let it come. Are they giving us petrol? No. They are giving us ethanol mixed petrol in the price of international crude oil level. What is the price? On that basis of that, they are fixing the prices here. This is what is happening. And what is our opposition doing? Sleeping. Ethanol actually won't affect the engine, but actual thing is the problem with ethanol is that ethanol has this affinity towards water. So it will actually absorb the moisture that is present in the air. That will easily corrode the metal parts. Wherever the fuel is traveling, that will corrode the metal. This will only happen when you are not using the vehicle. Then there is a risk. Then there is an increased risk to your engine. And insurance companies have already told that they are not going to give any insurance and all if any engine damage happens because of usage of ethanol. Because your car was not built for it. That is the bottom line. Which oil you are importing? Any doubts here? Filled with fuel and not in use. That is the point. Unnecessarily don't fill your tank and keep the fuel level very high. Keep it bare minimum. Then keep it. If you notice, the government has brought in one more rule and law. That is, fuel is not supposed to be given in cans or bottles anymore. Why? Many YouTubers actually made it public that actually in 1 liter of petrol, this much amount of ethanol is there. If you don't even have to do any test, just fill it up. Just fill the bottle, leave it holding there for some time. I think you need to put some chemical also for that, or I don't know. Just leave it stagnant for some time. Ethanol will float at the top. Oil will be the bottom. Clear? It is there in the PDF. Link is there in the description. General points only. Nothing great here. So this entire clause is about setting up a toll fees in the Strait of Hormuz region, which will be managed by Iran and Oman together. So what most other countries and other shipping companies have told us, now if you start it here like this, then in other straits also the same thing will happen, like the Malacca Singapore Strait and the English Channel. So this is your Strait of Malacca. Sumatra, Indonesia, Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. This is the strait connecting Andaman Sea. All right. Yes. Andaman Sea entering all the way to the South China Sea. Then the English Channel. You have UK at the north, France at the bottom. This is your English Channel connecting the North Atlantic Ocean and the North Sea. Again, please mark both these in your atlas immediately. Strait of Malacca. So when you mark Strait of Malacca, please understand you should mark Indonesia, Sumatra, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, all that you have to mark. Fuel flex vehicles can do that. There is no doubt about it, but it will take time before they come in the market. That is the point. My guess is that government will reduce the price. Not now, not next year, just 3-4 months before 2029 election. A major reduction in fuel prices. You can expect by then. Easily. By then you can expect it. By then all these policies would have kicked in. Government will see how much tax, this, that, etc. During that election time, they will drop the price like anything. It will be in the range of 10, 20, 30 or something where, suddenly people will be, wow, this much of reduction. I initially thought they may probably go behind POK, but POK I don't know as of now with the current situation whether going behind POK will happen or not. I'm not sure. But oil prices reduction, that is a definite guarantee. That's a definite guarantee there. Correct, Ishika. Sujay, first of all, I have not said 2027, this is the strategy, that's the strategy. Okay. You go watch my video and first see what I have said. Then come and talk crap in my chat section. Alright? I have never said this is the new strategy. I have only made my current affairs accessible to every student out there who is preparing for any competitive exam. That is the only fault I did. Gold price we will see. So clear till here. Now moving on. Clause 6. A 300 billion reconstruction plan for Iran. That is, Iran will be given $300 billion for reconstructing it to support their post-war recovery. Sanctions relief in final deal. That is, sanctions relief means again, Iran can export their oil, Iran can buy things, all that. Iran to not procure or develop nuclear weapons. Iran currently has a stockpile of 60% enriched uranium. If it crosses 90%, then that is weapons grade uranium. So Iran is basically like, okay, I will not enrich it any further. That agreement has been squeezed out of it. United States had bombed facilities at Natanz, Fordo, Arak and Isfahan in June 2025. Again, people note these names. The Memorandum of Understanding does not require Iran to transfer enriched uranium to a third country. This was one of the conditions. That whatever uranium you are having with you, Iran, 60% you are having, you should give it to some other country. This was one of the initial conditions that USA had placed on Iran. Now that condition also USA has gone back on. In other words, this Memorandum of Understanding, if you look, it almost looks like a very sweet dish given to Iran. If you really see, there is nothing where USA has forced Iran to do something. Because if you look at it, $300 billion for Iran's reconstruction, sanctions on Iran lifted. Whatever international assets that Iran is having, Iran can take it back from them. Then Iran can start charging an entry fees. So overall, if you see, it was a deal entirely sweetened for Iran. Much to the anger of Israel. Israel was like, what nonsense is this? Going on giving everything for Iran. What nonsense? Even nuclear activities also, you people are not interested. 60% enrichment they have done already. What are you going to do next? Nothing. Clear? Status quo until final deal. Status quo will be maintained. That is, nobody will attack anybody until a final deal is struck after the 60-day time period. Sanctioning waivers. United States unfreezes the Iranian assets. Approximately $12 billion has reportedly already been released Banks in Qatar and UAE have facilitated the process. Unfreezes Iranian assets in foreign countries. That is, Iranian deposits will be there, right? Money, etc. All that has been released now. Exactly. A monitoring mechanism will be there. Monitoring mechanism means an independent mechanism to monitor the implementation of MOU. Now, what is that mechanism and all has not been drawn out clearly, but before that, attack has happened already. Correct? Hierarchy of mutual priorities. The clause establishes a hierarchy of mutual priorities during the 16-day period. Hierarchy means of mutual priorities. Simply means at each level, one priority will be there for each country. What is most important now? The most important thing is we must not attack each other. Okay. Number 2. What is our next important thing? Okay, the next important thing is within 30 days we should get back the shipping everything back in action again. Okay. Like that, a hierarchy will be there. Clear? Clause 14, UN Security Council resolution. The clause provides for a future UN Security Council resolution endorsing the agreement. The provision resembles endorsement of the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action through UN Security Council Resolution 2231. Now, JCPOA. What is this? It is in news now very frequently. And when was this in news actually? When did they try to bring it? Long time ago. Long time ago means 2015. Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, more commonly known as the Iran Nuclear Deal, is a 2015 agreement between Iran and several world powers to restrict Iran's nuclear program in exchange for relief of international sanctions on Iran. That means Iran should stop their nuclear activities. You stop your nuclear activities, then we will lift these sanctions. What are these sanctions? Sanctions implement this much. Iran cannot buy anything, Iran cannot sell anything. Iran can neither sell their oil nor can they buy anything. Even if they have to buy something, they cannot use dollars for that purpose. They will have to, it's banking access, none of that they are going to get. The deal was negotiated by the Democratic administration of US President Barack Obama from 2009 to 17, but it was rejected by the Republicans as too conciliatory. Too conciliatory means it is too softening, too benefiting for Iran. It was opposed by Obama's successor, US President Donald Trump, 2017 to 21, then 2025, that is the second term, who pulled the US out of the deal in 2018 and reimposed the sanctions. That means, this I will tell you, this discussion, so this started during Barack Obama's time period. Then Trump took over. 2017, Trump took over. And just when the negotiations were about to go fine, Trump did not give any proper reason. In 2018, unilaterally, US walked out of that negotiation, telling that no, we won't agree with any of this. He himself walked out of it. Now, if you ask me what is the bottom reason for all of this, it is important for the USA to keep the Middle East a conflict-prone region. A conflict-prone region. That is very, very important. Why? That entire region is rich in crude oil. And there is an agreement signed between Saudi and USA, which is, you may know this, petrodollar. Petrodollar is what? All the oil, buying it, selling it, whatever, you will do it only in dollars. And Saudi Arabia is one of the major player in OPEC. What is OPEC? OPEC is nothing but a group of all those countries that produces crude oil. In today's parlance, you can actually call it a cartel. A very closed group who will basically decide how much oil should be produced, how much oil should be supplied. They control the entire supply production of oil. So if I keep the conflict alive in the region, in any form, irritating Iran, attacking Iraq, then definitely ensuring that no matter what, Israel, Palestine conflict will keep continuing forever. All of that will ensure what? Crude oil prices will remain high. That means dollar demand will remain high, because here you have made an agreement that whatever you have to buy or sell, you will do it only in what? Dollar. So dollar demand will be high. Otherwise, think about it, right? Ideally, if I am buying oil from Saudi Arabia, I should be paying it in what? Saudi Riyal, UAE Dirham. Correct? But crude oil prices also, if you see internationally, it is always said in dollars only. It is not in Kuwaiti dinar. It is not in Saudi Riyal. It is not in UAE Dirham. None of that. I mean, those countries are actually producing oil. Ideally, it should be in their currency only. But no. Why? This agreement. So crude oil prices going up simply means dollar will always go up. That means Americans will always laugh all the way to the bank. Because this will ensure that dollar demand always stays up internationally. Where the irony is, USA is actually an importing nation. It is the largest buyer in the world. Getting the point here? Yes, they export military hardware, etc. But otherwise, anything you take, IT services, we give it to them. Chinese, Reebok, any brand you take, Apple iPhone, yeah, okay, California, the company is there, we know. But the parts, the software, the technology, everything is outsourced outside USA. Nike, Adidas, Reebok, none of these companies have any of their showrooms there. It is the largest market for all the automobiles, be it European cars, be it Asian cars. American cars, hardly any few are there. 1, 2, 3 are there. Why? Why only very few car companies, American car companies are there? Because the cost of production in USA is very, very high. Cost of production. It is cheaper to import a car into USA rather than manufacture a car in USA. So ideally speaking, if you're importing so much, you should actually be having what? Your currency value should be dropping down. But no, oil will always ensure that your currency value is high. Any doubts here? Correct, Dibendu. So Israeli concerns regarding Memorandum of Understanding. MOU was viewed by sections of Israel as a strategic setback. US reached an agreement with Iran without consulting Israel. The agreement provides sanctions relief and concessions to Iran. Agreement does not address the ballistic missiles or Iran's relationship with regional non-state actors. No mention of Hezbollah in it, no mention of Houthis in Yemen or Qatar in it, no mention of Hamas in it. So that is why Israelis are like, what nonsense is this? What sort of agreement is this? Some Israeli political groups describe the agreement as overly generous to Tehran. Tehran is the capital of Iran. Agreement was viewed as weakening two major political strengths associated with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, namely his security credentials and his relationship with US President. Some observers describe the mood in Israel as a mixture of anger, suspicion, and humiliation. Some observers argued that Israel bore the cost of the conflict while Washington and Tehran were shaping the outcome. Israel faces a decision on whether to preserve freedom of military action in Lebanon or accept the de-escalatory framework established by the MOU. Agreement initiated a 60-day period during which Israel is expected to seek more favorable terms through discussions with US. Parallel negotiations between Israel and Lebanon continue without substantial progress. Water. Clear. So, this is the bottom line. Israel is like literally sitting there confused. Alternate what and all routes can be there now for India. Alternate connectivity corridors. So, if you actually look into that, there is a north-south transport corridor, NSTC route. Russia, Azerbaijan, connecting through Iran, going to India. That is the north-south corridor. The other route for this is through Russia again, you go eastwards, enter into the Mediterranean Sea, come down through the Suez Canal, then enter into India. So you don't have to go through the Hormuz region. As it is now, India has signed a pact where now 70% of crude oil will be coming outside, and if trade is also going to happen through this route, means India can reduce its dependence on this region practically. This is one option available with India. India can let go of this. This is one route, one thing. The next route is what? This is basically your Belt and Road Initiative. That Belt and Road Initiative, if you see again, overland route of Belt and Road Initiative, maritime route of Belt and Road Initiative. Overland means on land. Maritime route means Kolkata, Sri Lanka, Pakistan. Maybe it will go to Iran, otherwise it will directly go to Africa, Djibouti. Then like that, enter back again through the Suez Canal, enter into Athens, that is Greece, Italy, like that. This is the other route. But because this is entirely Chinese operated, the international community, if you really see, they are not so keen about it. Yeah. Definitely. It will definitely be, costly. All that is true. There is no doubt about it. See, it will help, but one country alone will not suffice, right? One country alone will not suffice India to deal with everything. The other thing that is being planned is India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor. Because recently, as you know, we have signed an FTA with Europe. Free trade agreement. We have also signed a free trade agreement with UK. We have also made a similar agreement with a few 4 northernmost countries, Scandinavian countries, Switzerland, Finland, etc. That also. So that entire trade, I want to bring into India. So from Greece again it will start, go till Israel, enter into Al-Haditha, then come into Riyadh, then Harad, then Al-Kuwaifat, Jebel Ali, and from there into India. But we know this Jebel Ali port, or be it this region, these are all again under this notorious part, Strait of Hormuz. So what is being planned is, here you have Oman, here you have Yemen. Why not bring it till here and then divert it to 1, 2, 3. There are 3 ports here. Salalah, I think Dunk, and one more port is there. Forgot its name. I think Muscat or something. Okay, anyway. So, one more port is there. Through the 3 ports here, and then bring it to India. This is being planned. But like all this plan, it will take some time. It will take some time to actually to materialize. But bottom line is, by 2030, 2035, we can expect 2 things here. One is dependency on crude oil as a fuel. Dependency on crude oil as a fuel is drastically going to come down, especially for the transportation sector. Currently, 50% of transports require crude oil. Electric vehicle usage currently stands at less than 10% of total vehicles. Currently, it is less than 10%. It would have picked up this year. It is bound to pick up because thanks to the fuel prices. Now, most of the people that I know, at least within the city, they are actually planning for what? Purchasing or using electric vehicle. The next thing obviously would be this whole blending program, E85, E100, both of which will drastically reduce the crude oil, especially post 2030. This way, what will happen is import bill will come down, especially with regard to crude oil. It will easily come down. And I will tell you what is the catastrophic effect here of this. India is the third largest importer of crude oil. That means market-wise, if you take, India is a very important market for crude oil. And in India, if we start telling, I don't want that much of crude oil anymore, demand of crude oil will crash. Price will crash even more faster than that. That is guaranteed. Electric vehicle, yeah, we may try to encourage it, but beyond a certain point also, we cannot encourage it much. Why? Because the batteries, the components that are used in electric vehicles, they come from China, for which again we'll have to depend on China. But whereas when it comes to E85 or E100, we only need to depend on whom? The Indian farmers, especially from the sugarcane sector. This is like make in India. You don't have to depend on anybody else. This is the best bet what we have. Farmers here will be happy. You keep the farmers happy. Now we are always telling Nitin Gadkari's sons are becoming rich. Nitin Gadkari is supporting his son. Whether his son, I mean, who is not doing that? Which politician's son or daughter is studying in India? Which politician's son or daughter is preparing for NEET, IIT, JEE, or even for UPSC exam? Nobody. The purpose of getting into power, even you people also, tomorrow you get into power, what are you going to do as a parent? You will ensure that your child has a smooth sail. Not that you will push your child to the same nonsense what you had to go through. Correct? Every parent has the right for it. Every parent will do that. So as a father, I am ready to forgive Mr. Nitin Gadkari. Chalo, let him do whatever he wants. But the bottom line is, the benefit that you are going to get politically is that farmers, especially sugarcane farmers, they are going to make money. And farmer groups are a very big pressure group in India that is going to seal your election for at least next 10 years. Bottom line is that. So not just 2029 plus 2034, basically the opposition can forget it. Water level will be affected. When was the last time, Ishika, because of water shortage, a government was defeated? When was the last time? Water shortage is there in this country probably since 1947. There are still villages in this country where pure water, pure drinking water is not there. But when was the last time a government lost the, forget state or central election, panchayat or municipality election because of water shortage? Got the point? That's it. Who cares? Who cares? Vehicles will get damaged, vehicles won't get damaged. That and all is secondary, right? See, as a sugarcane farmer, if I have, in addition to selling my sugarcane to the sugar mill owners who will manufacture sugar out of it, from where I don't get that much of return, if my sugarcane is being taken by oil marketing companies, I am going to make money. Which vehicle owner will actually come, how many vehicle owners will actually come on the road to say, nahi chalegi, we want our rights? How many people will come? Nobody will come. Flexi fuel engines will come. See, I'm not telling that right away all these things will happen. Eventually, 2030, we are only in 2026. 2029 is the election. By 2030, all these changes would have happened. Guaranteed. Already we are at E50, brother. How long do you think for it to reach E85? How long do you think it will reach E100? Government will push it. People will have no other choice but to use it. And India being one of the largest automobile market here, Toyota will make the changes immediately. Maruti will make the changes immediately. Hyundai will make the changes immediately. Why? Benz, Audi, BMW will make the changes immediately because they need India. Currently, India is the country which is still growing, where the middle class are still having aspirations. I want to buy German vehicle. I want to buy that car, this car. Every other major developed nations, they have crossed that stage. We are still in that aspiration stage. There's a huge market here. Within 1 year, the models will come out. Wait and watch. Got the point? Alternative eastern entry points proposed for the corridor include, Salalah, Dukkum, and Muscat, because they are located away from the Strait of Hormuz. These regions. So that is Salalah for you. This is Oman, by the way. That is your Strait of Hormuz. Okay, Salalah, Dukkum, and Muscat is also there. Okay, Muscat is not marked. This side. Then the last point. An alternative western route to Egypt has been proposed until Haifa port becomes a stable transit hub. Geographic locations or places mentioned, I have put it like a separately, I have put the names of the places and the country. In case you missed out anything, go through that list, mark it again in your atlas. India's natural gas snapshot. India needs 189 million metric cubic meters per day, of which we are producing 189 is what we need. 97.5 production is there. 91.5 is what we are importing. In that 91.5 what we are importing, 25.1 is what has got impacted now because of this conflict. If that 25.1 I am able to find a replacement for it, then I need not worry. Of this total import, what I am importing, 25.1 percentage comes from where? That Hormuz region. That is 1/4. For the 1/4 quantity, what is government again coming up with? Government is coming up with the replacement of biogas. This again will be pushed in the next 3-4 years. Because government has understood this is one hell of a thing. This is unnecessarily giving weapon into the hands of the opposition, and people also will get angry. Because domestic LPG is one thing where it can easily affect your voting prospects, because women are the one who cook and LPG becomes costly. Women will get angry. Women will tell their husband, this government, we will not vote for BJP. Husband will listen. I am not joking. Back during 2004 elections, I think, Vajpayee government had come up with this campaign called India is Shining, India is Shining. But just 3-4 months before the election, prices of onion, prices of potato, both these prices had crossed, like literally went very high. Even for back then standard also, I think it was 200 rupees per kilo or something. BJP government also would not have thought about it much, but they lost the election. People did not vote for them, because the thing we have to understand here is potato, onion, etc. If you see, it is used in every basic dish that is cooked in India. Even for pani puri, you need it. Imagine not able to eat pani puri. Pani puri is not actually a middle class or a rich man's food or anything. Even for migrant laborers, sometimes to kill hunger, what they will do, okay, though I will eat some puri, 3-4 puris, they will mouth like that and they will go, buy, take 10 rupees you keep. Now you cannot do it for 10 rupees. So they lost the election that time. Same thing over here. LPG becomes very costly. voters will change. Plus, migrant laborers, migrant workers, they keep moving around. When one construction is over, they move to the next construction site. Do you really think they will have a proper gas connection? For a gas connection, what is the first criteria? You need a permanent address. When you don't have a permanent address, how will you get gas connection? So they buy these small cylinders, small ones you would have seen, red color ones, to cook their rotis, etc. Those small cylinders becomes costly, means migrant laborers will not vote for you. Women will not vote for you, especially from the poor and the lower middle class families. You will lose the election. I did this, I went there, I signed this deal, that deal. For the normal person, for the normal, common, ordinary man, you signed a deal with Europe, you went and said hi, you gave melody to Melanie. None of that matters. Ultimately, what matters is what? Affordability. Got the logic here. But for that, government is coming out with this whole biogas ka thing. That again will pick up. Ethanol blending we have already seen here. India's export market, if you see major exports in November 2025, these were the goods. Mainly engineering goods, then electronic goods, even petroleum products, not crude oil. Crude oil, after refining, we export those products. Gems and jewelry. We buy the raw gold, raw diamonds, and then we, polish it, work on it, and make designs and sell. So these are mainly our export, whatever products we export. And interestingly enough, last year, USA placed us on tariffs. USA is our major market. But in spite of that also, Indian exports increased by more than 20% because we diversified. Diversified means, yes, USA continued to be our major buyer, but we ensured that we have new export markets, new destinations. In addition to the multiple free trade agreements that were signed, all this boosted the export market. So think about it now. Export markets will continue to rise. Import, we are bringing down crude oil import. Correct, crude oil import will reduce in the coming years. What we are going to see is rupee rising. I'm not going to say rupee will rise to a tremendously high level, but yeah, we can expect it to somewhere settle at 85. In and around 85, because this will highly depend upon how much crude oil we bring down. So somebody had mentioned, sir, what about gold import? See, gold is that one thing, because electronic goods, we can do something. We can start manufacturing the goods in the country. Crude oil, like I told you, the answer for this, it is E100. Then for natural gas, LPG, etc., fine, we can start promoting biogas. Some replacement, even if 10-15% reduction in import happens, we will save on dollars. Coal, again, we have solar power, all that. And coal also, we have its usage is reducing year on year. But who is the only villain in this? That is gold. Because for gold, what replacement is there? It has a sentimental value. And you don't have to be an expert in economics. Whenever people see that, okay, inflation is very high, rupee is losing its value, etc., even the most common of the commonest man will go and buy gold. Anybody will go and buy gold. Why? Because gold is that one product where its prices have always increased. I already said this in this last 1 year, that is in 2025 alone, the price increase of gold in a single year was by more than 30%. That is, if you would have bought gold for 100 in January, by December you would have made 130 rupees out of it, where your profit would have been 30 rupees. And Indians generally have that tendency, when they actually see that inflation is happening, price rises there for everything, they immediately go and purchase gold. This we cannot do anything. But for the rest, we can start bringing it down. The free trade agreements, whatever we have signed, slowly, we will start seeing the results of it. Which simply means rupee will soon stabilize at 85. Petrol, diesel prices also will start coming down. This is the bottom line. PM can say not to buy gold because he is not married. If we give melody to Melanie, that is more than enough. You try to do that with your wife means, trust me, she will murder you. You will become breaking news. In 2025, India and UK signed the Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement under which tariffs have been reduced. This will again improve our exports. 2024, India also signed the Trade and Economic Partnership Agreement with the European Free Trade Association countries, Switzerland, Norway, Iceland, Liechtenstein. Yeah, this is pronounced as Liechtenstein, under which they have linked markets in return for investment. Got the point here? This is the bottom line. So for all these countries, again, you will mark all these countries, their capital cities, the geography, all of that you are going to do. Got the point? So this is what it is. Last thing. So if current account, okay. Crude oil prices decreases. Dollar demand decreases. Rupee will appreciate. So sudden appreciation means exports will come down. Imports will increase. But if you gradually do that, yes, exports may get affected, but not to that level. Gradually, you bring the decrease. Why gradually? Because when you do it very gradually, cost of production can be brought down. Cost of production, when you bring it down, exports will increase. And import bill overall will be low because of this. Crude oil prices going down. That means more industries, more production, which simply means tax collection for government will improve. Both direct plus indirect. That will lead to an increase in receipts for the government. Increase in receipts for the government means, again, two options are there with the government: capital expenditure, which will give you return on investment. Revenue expenditure, especially in the form of subsidies, freebies. That is vote bank politics. This return of investment will actually further increase the, again, increase the receipts. Overall, it will help in bringing the fiscal deficit down. This is the bottom line. I know some of your economics concepts are yet to be taught or cleared. For those of you, you may find it a little tough. For those of you for which it is where it is already covered, you will be able to make sense out of this. With that, today's special session is over. I hope that clarity has come to you how the West Asian crisis will affect India's rupee value, how it will impact on our imports, how it will impact our country economically, and what are the corrective measures that the country has taken so far to take things ahead. Any questions? Rupee value decreases. No, I'm not expecting a value decrease in rupee. Maybe it will increase again. All depends upon the West Asian crisis and how quickly we reduce our dependency on the Strait of Hormuz. It will depend on that. One advice to keep in mind: go through the question papers, previous year question papers of CAPFAC. Develop a deep voice like you. I have no idea. I don't like my voice, to be very honest. What needs to be done? Gen A with cuts in private jobs. What needs to be done? You need to update yourself with AI skills. See, AI skills means, please understand. So, for example, even I use I use AI tools. So, that is like I am using it for generating images, etc. So, what is the first thing necessary is you should become an expert in something. Become an expert in something, and into that you bring AI. Then you will stay relevant. Simply studying about AI, simply learning, okay, if you in AI, if you do this you can do, that you can do. I think that already many are doing that. Many people are running even courses telling that. Do you know how to use ChatGPT correctly? If not, quickly join this. What there is some name for that also. Yeah, join my masterclass at 199 rupees only and be an ChatGPT expert. See you soon. That crap many are doing. There is no point in that. That almost everybody is selling it. And what is the so-called expertism in that? You're just giving different prompt. They will teach you how to generate a particular image, how to get this prompt done, that prompt done. Which if you yourself sit with ChatGPT for 5 to 10 minutes, you will be able to access it. So musicians are using it. A.R. Rahman is using the voice of those artists, singers who passed away already. He has used AI to regenerate the voice after taking the permission of the family. So that everybody are doing it. AI is being used by in every field. It is being used. But you have to find your expertism where you are an expert. Then use AI there. That is how it is. Anju, I am not aware of the batch classes and all. You please consult with the concerned team. I have told this multiple times. I am not the one to decide on the batch, when the batch classes starts, etc. Monday, I know one thing, that I am taking Praramb English batch. That I am clear on. Praramb English batch at 5 o'clock. I will be taking Polity NCRT there. Only that clarity I have. Other than that, I don't have any other clarity on what else is happening. Food price inflation, Shashikant, it is not just with fertilizer. Fertilizer is the least of our worry. Food price inflation is definitely going to happen because of increase in diesel prices, increase in petrol prices. For that reason, it will happen. Because in India, what we definitely don't have is we don't have proper storage houses or warehouses to store food, especially fruits, vegetables, etc. We don't have refrigerated warehouses and all, that many we don't have. So automatically food inflation will be there. That is the reason government is hell bent on ensuring that we have to control this whole situation. Please contact your Deepa Sridharan Tapalli. Please contact the mentors there. They will tell you how to use Select 360. Won't you have issues later as PW also thought? Why should I worry about later? Brother, I told you this earlier also. You shouldn't. Why are you worried about your competition? Which field doesn't have competition? I am not bothered about that. Let another faculty use it. Let him use. Let her use. Let anybody use. It is available. What is the big deal in that? You have to do your job first properly. I always have said this also. I won't be replaced from this job because of because of another person's efficiency. I'll be replaced from this job only on two things. If I die, number two, my inefficiency. Only those two reasons are there. Other than that, what other person is doing, I'm least bothered. I don't have the time for that, first of all. I'm basically like, I'm hell like I'm cowed down with work. I've already made videos on that. Saturday there was a live on Praram 2029. I think it is still there in PWLA's English YouTube channel. Visit that video. Optional subject when to start? Start it as early as possible, Sanskriti. Optional classes I think will start from again June 22nd onwards. My PubAd classes are starting from June 25th. So if you're not joined for any optional classes yet, please do consider the optional classes at PW. Will we lose POK to Pakistan? No. POK will be lost by Pakistan. That is guaranteed. The only question is when. Is it before 29 election or before 2034 election? Because POK comes, see, definitely this is now classes are over. This is just me giving my analysis. Capture of POK will ensure that BJP will remain in power for another 10 years. That is the thing. They are very clear about their targets and their goals. Maybe not be right, maybe not be, maybe it may not be agreed to by everybody, but they are very clear. They want to rule India till 2050. Their agendas and their plans are like that. So they will ensure that POK comes because POK is enough. POK is enough to ensure that for next 10 years, continuously BJP will rule. Question is when. That's it. Guna Hemant, you'll first prepare it. Prepare on that topic. PYQs, first you'll prepare on the topic based on the current data, current news. Then you will write the answer. Prepare first and then write. US and Russia are having issues with each other, something from the Cold War era and other issues, whatever they have in Europe, etc. So they tend to interfere. So basically, they tend to do that because my enemy's enemy is my friend. That strategy. Say, for example, now India has armed. India has provided weapons to Philippines. Why? Because Philippines are having an issue with China. India has provided weapons to, I think, Cyprus. Because Cyprus is having an issue with Turkey. Why we are having a problem with Turkey? Because Turkey keeps on supporting Pakistan. Turkey was the one who provided drones to Pakistan. So that same thing everybody does. No, nothing to. New gen against them. Nothing like that. Don't expect whatever happened in Nepal and West Bengal to happen over here. If you like civil engineering, take it up as an optional. Clear NEET first, then we can think about UPSC. Sujay Kumar, I'm currently 29 working in private sector. Advice to you is don't resign your job. That's it. If the videos are available there, do it from there. That's it. Pakistan is not at all a competition, trust me. China, see, it is not about which country is competing. It is not about competing here. It is more to do with providing the basic facilities to the people to conduct one exam properly. Now, to conduct NEET, what have they done? They have banned Telegram. I mean, what sort of nonsense is that? So, that doesn't make any sense at all. The fact of the matter is, you have to make the punishment so strict to the point where, it's compulsorily some 5 years, 7 years jail, no bail, like that it should be. Directly or indirectly, if you're involved in it. All right, now idiots are back. So let's call it a day. Take care, people. I will try to ensure that some recordings, etc., are made, just so that some of the topics, especially science and tech related topics. I think considerable backlog has been developed now, especially with few critical topics are there which needs to be discussed in class. I'll try to ensure that at least videos are made and recorded and uploaded into the channel. So stay subscribed to the channel so that you will have an idea. Okay, take care. Shweta, trust me, if I get some alternate career, if I get an alternate career where I will have maybe the same payment, I will pick it up. Trust me, because this is literally becoming like one thankless job. So if I get something alternative, I will pick it up. I'm at that mental space now. Take care.